So is the great DOA going away for good in the big house? Don't know, but we shall soon find out whether his bond will be revoked, and at least for a while he will be behind the barrows. And yeah, his reactions are fairly chaotic and hard to track, because it seemed for a while he was trying to stay out of jail, but now he is spilling the tea on every single person he can remember or find. And you're like, okay, I mean, I have to be honest, like this 5-hour mammoth stream, and I can only catch a little bit of it, but was it amusing? Yes. Was it funny? Yes. But to a certain extent, what does it mean, really? I mean, okay, so I'm just going to concentrate on one section where he made fun of Julia. And I want to revisit this topic because, yeah, that video she put out was really horrible. The basic framework is that Julia wanted to make fun of Miss J, who's a prominent critic of Aaron Smith 11, and just kept insulting and slandering her over and over again. And she's just wildly confused. Like, at one point, she confused Aaron's victims. Like, Aaron had a bar incident a few years ago by now. And yes, that woman eventually did marry Hulk Hogan. But then Julia thought, oh, that's that woman from LA, where Aaron, well, that's what the video shows, threw the woman into a wall. That is not the same person. That is a different person. Right? There are several different female victims. They're not all the same person. So that was just embarrassing. So she's just ranting and raving, and DOA is laughing it up and just mocking her, well, no nice way of putting it, her stupidity. And I agree. I mean, this does show us that the typical female follower of Aaron Smith 11 isn't quite together there. And they just seem to latch on to him because they think they're victims. Maybe they are real victims. And they're just creating this weird myth that he and Jenna are saving all the victims when there's no evidence they are. But what are we getting from all this? I mean, is this true that Julia is not very intelligent? Sure, right? I think I did a video a few months ago on her. And yeah, and in fact, I wanted, to be perfectly honest, I actually wanted to do a series on her, but it was just so sad, right? It's just so sad. So to a certain extent, this is like, right, the proverbial phrase is shooting fish in a barrel. Okay, so you're picking some of Aaron's, well, dumber followers and mocking how dumb they are, and they don't really know what they're talking about. So when they're defending Aaron, they're actually doing so incorrectly. Okay, I got the joke. I got it. I got the punchline. But what are we learning from this? Because I'm still not tracking what the bigger point is. I do know in the last month or so, he's been really revisiting the Louis Repetto case. And we have to be careful here. There are serious issues involved. But for the people outside, I'll make it very brief. But basically, Louis was an ex-Scientologist. And last spring, there was a massive scandal and crisis. And it goes into different levels. First, it's what Louis did and the reaction of SPTV that a lot of creators tried to cover up the crimes, basically. But now DOA is kind of revising the record that actually a lot of the victims of Louis Repetto are not really victims, and actually he might be more innocent than we think. I can't really say too much more. A lot of people have shared things in confidence, so I would say there is evidence that he's pretty guilty of several different things. Now, I can't really say more than that. I've shared the information that I've been given. I really can't go further. Again, I'm trying to be as fair as possible to the victims. And I do think DOA has a point that some of these victims, it seems, have a very shady record and a shady past. But I'm not seeing the leap here. So just because some of the women, again, this is alarmingly a lot like Harvey Weinstein, some of the women, the stories aren't really checking out, or there are issues and problems. That doesn't tell us all the victims are lying or all the victims have shaky stories. It just means these several women may have exaggerated or made up things. Now, that's still alarming. That's still very alarming that that happened. But still, we want to be careful that we're not lumping in people who were telling the truth. I mean, we want to be fair here. But at certain points, and again, I don't know if DOA was just joking, but it just seemed to be, well, this is my opinion, it was crossing a line, because he was like, oh, well, you know, Louis is just having some fun. I mean, he can protest and have a relationship, right? I mean, as far as I understand it, he has a steady girlfriend. So Again, various people have different relationships, but yeah, I don't know. It's not a binary here that Lewis has to act like a stone and can't react emotionally, romantically, or whatever, even sexually, to the other female protesters. I mean, I think he's missing a step in his argument. Also, this isn't adding up to his current criticisms and complaints, right? I mean, DOA himself acknowledges that auditing to him is very dangerous because you're basically trying to manipulate people. That's what Louis Repetto was. He was an auditor. Now, I'm not even defending the guy, but I do think we have to be careful when people bring up the brainwashing issue in Scientology. It is definitely real. I don't want to diminish that. On the other hand, you don't want to exaggerate it like they literally have mental mind powers and can just, zap you and control you. I think that's kind of silly. So I'm very conflicted on Repetto. I do think he's guilty, not just of, XYZ crime. I mean, I'm far from saying there should be any, quote, comedy, because look, we got to be honest, this thing has degenerated into a bunch of clown shows. And again, I can't really verify. I just wasn't there. I have no direct connection to these victims. But if Repetto did do some of these things, it's pretty out there, and to just laugh it off. I mean, I get it. Julia is dumb. She's dumb. She just got basic things wrong. So she's actually committed to the lie that Aaron has put out there that, Louis Repetto, me and Repetto, no, I don't really know. They knew each other from the Sea Org days, right? And if you go to the earlier videos with Aaron was totally honest about that. Saying, yeah, I like him. He's my friend. Yeah, we hung out. Yeah, the Sea Org. Yeah. Now, Louis, yeah, I always felt weird. I always had some, I just warned the women about him. Just this complete revisionary nonsense, and Julia's swallowing it. Okay, fine. You can make fun of that, but I'm not clear where we're going, because I would assume DOA is still, if anything, for the grift, saying he wants to destroy Scientology. I can also even understand kind of the thread he's trying to tease out here, that some of these, quote, female activists used Lewis and created a fake scandal to some degree for their own benefit. Okay, that's fine. That's believable. We're still far away from, Louis Repetto is really an innocent angel. I'm not seeing any evidence of that. And it would contradict DOA's own stance that we don't trust Aaron, right? But that's Aaron's friend. So is he carving a really narrow logical position? I don't know. And again, maybe I'm overthinking it, right? Obviously, if you go to the Saul G channel or Ms. J, they'll just come out and say, well, this guy's just a stupid fat pig. That's just DOA. Really, you're overthinking, analyzing the thing as always. Really, he's just creating nonsense for no reason. I don't know. I think there's a method to his madness. But granted, at this point, it seems really bizarre. And again, we want to be careful here. This is the state of California. They are saying he needs to go to the bond hearing and they may revoke it. So maybe they did find new information. But I'm guessworking DOA to some degree was instigating this. He wants a reaction. Now, does he want to go to jail? I don't think so, but he wants to keep the tension going. So there's a method to his madness. Now, it could just be pure madness. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think he's got some sly tricks up his sleeve. But what exactly is the trick? I'm trying to figure it out myself, because it just seems like such a weird repositioning. He now likes Alonzo. Okay, he doesn't like Aaron, but now we're rehabilitating Repetto, and we're trying to attack these other women. I'm not even going to get into some of the things he was getting into, because it was what? We don't trust the women because they're ugly? Very confusing, very confusing. It just seems such a radical contradiction to his stance from just a few weeks ago. So did I miss something here? It just seemed very strange. The basic points are correct. Maybe some female activists did exaggerate XYZ. And yes, Julia is really not very intelligent, but this just seems like tautology. Yeah, of course, sometimes it will happen. Female activists will become opportunists, sometimes. And yeah, some of Aaron's followers are really dumb. And I don't know, for the last day of freedom, potentially for his life, I don't know. I would have thought he would have said something a little bit more substantive, in my humble opinion.